Listen, today I'm going to give you 10 hacks or 10 tips that Scrum Masters should be doing in their first 30 to 45 days to set themselves up for success. And I want to do it in 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. We're going to unpack it right here on this channel. Hey, I'm Dawn Nicole. If this is your first time to Acing Your Agile Career with Dawn Nicole, welcome. We're super happy to have you. If you are a returning Acer, then welcome back. We're glad you're here. So today, I'm going to aim to unpack a common question that I get from Scrum Masters and leaders who want to know, how do Scrum Masters set themselves up for success in their first 30 to 45 days? So let's lean in and unpack it. And real quick caveat, you don't have to follow this exact order of steps, but you do want to focus on these 10 things. There is some flexibility because organizational cultures change. So of course, be mindful of what your organization wants, but this is a common thread of things that should be top of mind for Scrum Masters in the first 30 to 45 days. Let's unpack. The first thing, number one, building team rapport, building trust. Scrum Masters, you want to come in, you don't want to be all business or all product, right? You want to lean in and get to know your people. These are going to be people you are working with, and it does matter if you're joining an existing established team versus if you are helping to form a team from the beginning. You want to build trust. You want to get to know people. What are their likes and dislikes? What time zones are they in? What are their preferences? Just get to know people. Be human again, okay? So that's number one. It'll go a long way. Number two, role, responsibility, and task expectations, particularly between the Scrum Master and the product owner. Listen, I know that you already know what a Scrum Master does, and you probably already know what a product owner does, but it's important for the both of you to be on the same page and understand your interaction model. For example, who's responsible for following up with stakeholders or chasing down dependencies or updating JIRA when this happens, or who receives escalations from the team? You don't know if you don't have the conversation. So sync and align initially, and then build a weekly or bi-weekly sync for you all to stay connected. Number three, taking over those Agile Team ceremonies and events. Scrum Masters, I get it. You're going to come in your first week or 2 weeks, and you're going to do this thing called observation. You're going to seek to understand before seeking to be understood. I get it. But at some point, we're looking for you to step up and say, okay, when would you like me to take over the ceremonies? And you really don't need to wait for permission, because people see that as a Scrum Master's role. So come in, find out who currently owns these events. Are they set up? Do they need to be set up? And when I say the events or ceremonies, of course, I mean backlog refinement, I mean sprint planning, I mean daily stand-up, sprint review, retro, so on and so forth, and find out if there are any events that teams are doing outside of these ceremonies. So that's you. Take them over as soon as feasible, okay, to show that you are owning your role, all right? Number four, Agile artifacts. This is a big one for me because I interview some Scrum Masters and I bring up the A word, artifacts, and they look at me like a deer in the headlights. They don't understand what I'm asking. So here's what I mean. Understand the Agile artifacts, the DOD, the DOR, the definition of done, definition of ready, the team charter, right? The team agreement. Is there a out of office calendar that we're using? So Scrum Masters, don't assume that just because you don't see these things that they don't exist. Instead, ask, where are they being stored and kept, and how often are they being updated and revisited? Okay, so find out about the team artifacts, familiarize yourself with them, and listen, if it's been a while since they've been looked at, because I personally think that every 60 or 90 days we should pop them out and refresh them and dust them off. They are living, breathing artifacts, so make sure that you're looking at these things that impact the team. All right, next we are going to go into what I call the hot items. So the squad's or the team's current workload, those items, the work that is really due now between a 30 and a 90-day period. What are we on the hook for delivering and producing in the next 90 days between now and a 90-day period? I call this hot items, right? Or kind of the hot backlog, things that we're working on. So what have we already committed to? Is there anything in that list that is at risk? What of that list are we dependent on with other teams or outside vendors or some business partner? So find out completely, be hyper curious, lean in, deep dive, and ask to understand. I know you're going to understand the roadmap and the backlog items anyway, but narrow down your focus to what's ready right now, and then next, and then later. Okay, so understand that. Number 6, trainings and boot camps. Listen, don't wait to be told. Ask the question. Is there a Teams training I should be attending? Is there some sort of boot camp I should be enrolling myself into or be looking for? Yes, there are a lot of companies who are going to hire high-performing Scrum Masters, so they may not be looking to train right out the gate, but there are also some organizations who have a rolling rinse and repeat boot camp calendar where they give boot camps on a monthly basis in order to baseline and make sure everybody understands Agile the same way at that organization. So Scrum Master, ask about that. Ask what are the upcoming trainings? Is there a Jira training? Is there a tooling training? Just find out. So ask those questions, show that you are on top of it and being super curious, okay? Number 7, business knowledge. Now I'm going to distinguish business knowledge from product knowledge. So bear with me, stay with me, guys. All right, so number 7 is business knowledge. And when I say business, understanding the business partners we work with. It's not about the product per se, we're going to get there, but who do we interact with? Who are our key stakeholders that we have high interaction models with? How many are there? And listen, there are some organizations who are tempted to say, well, the whole organization is our stakeholder. Yeah, that's nice, I get it, but there's somebody that you pick up the phone and call if something breaks, right? There's someone who has influential decision-making power. Who is that? You need to know who those names are. What time zones are they on? What are their titles? What are they expecting? What are they working on? Who interfaces with them or interacts with them frequently? So again, Scrum Masters, you've got to know this knowledge. So number 8 is product knowledge. Now, it's just like what it sounds like. What is the thing that we build, or what is the thing that we enable, or what is the experience, right, that we deliver, build, enable? What is it? Why is it important? Who is it important for or to? Who is the end user? What happens without it? How is it making someone's business or life better, simpler, or move faster? What impediments does it help to remove or decrease by us building this thing? So this is where you lean in and you understand everything you can about the product you are building, the mission, the statement, the people, the personas, all the good stuff. I won't get into that here because I'm trying to keep this video quick, okay? Then number 9, the domain knowledge. Dawn Nicole, what do you mean the domain knowledge? You just scared me there. Okay, so this is what I mean by domain knowledge, okay? The R to B. So we know that in Agile, you have changed the business work, you have run the business work. Find out who they are. Who are you working with operationally? What happens when something doesn't work? There's a defect. There's a defect that comes back, or there's some feedback 4 months later or 90 days later, and it's routed back to the team. What is the ticketing system? What is the process? What is the team you're going to be working with? So just understanding the domain beyond your team, okay? Very, very important to understand that. And then last but not least, I'm so happy this video is going to be under 10 minutes. Last but not least, it is time to have some sort of observation. So number 10, observations and assessments on this team. So by now it's 30 days, maybe 45 days later, you've been leaning in, you've been watching, you've been making recommendations, and you've been writing down some observations, okay? So you want to have assessed your team's maturity, Agile maturity, and not just observe and assess, but what actions would you recommend as a result? You are a Scrum Master, and therefore you are seen as a thought partner in Agile and really helping to not just servant leader, yes, but also giving them guidance and direction. So have those observations ready, work with your Agile coach, and let's execute on some action. Don't try to do this in the first week or the first 2 weeks. I recommend against it. Do not be that person with a laundry list of things to change in the first day, the first week, or 2 weeks. Give it 30 days so you have enough data that is substantial and can be validated, and then move in. And it's not trying to change everything. It's working on small things at a time. Listen, I hope that this was helpful. If so, like and subscribe, and do share, you all. It means a lot to help our algorithms. And listen, continue to come back where you get real advice from a real practitioner in her real office. Until next time, keep calm and be agile with Dawn Nicole, acing your Agile career. Talk to you soon. Take care.